Is this you?
Was poppin', was poppin'. Welcome, Nicky and Moose. I'm Nicky. That's Moose. What's up, Moose?
What up, y'all?
And welcome to the live show. And of course, shout out to all our YouTube viewers, Facebook viewers, wherever you're watching this, right? Shout out to y'all. If you like anything of Nicky and Moose, please like and share this. If you're live in the chat, let us know where you're watching this from. If you're watching this replay, let us know where you're watching this from. And of course, episode 112, like the group. 112 dropped today. We went heavy on the content talk. So, I was happy about that. But, Moose, how are we feeling?
Man, feeling pretty good. It's funny when you said the group 112. When we recorded the episode, I was like, oh yeah, Q peaches and cream. But I was like, nah, let me not do that. But now that you made the reference, I'm like, okay, yeah, Q peaches and cream. Like, just listen to that before and after the I don't know. That was a good song. So I'm good, man. Yeah. No, I'm good. Things have been great, man. Just hopped on a couple calls throughout the day. Took the car to at least get the whole insurance thing situated. That I think I told you, car got hit, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just waiting for that to get fixed. But other than that, things are great, man. Just excited to go through the holiday season and spend some good time with everybody.
So, okay, that's what I was gonna ask. Like, do you celebrate Thanksgiving? I'm not sure. I feel like I ask this every year.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah, no, I mean, we don't celebrate Thanksgiving. So Muslims don't celebrate Thanksgiving. It's not an official holiday that, we subscribe to per se. However, I think the meaning of it is good. The gratitude, because I have come to learn that there's, some woke stuff that you can learn about everything. And then it makes you feel like, okay, maybe I shouldn't celebrate anything. But I like the idea of service, gratitude, giving back. And so I look to be a little bit more of those than I normally am during this time of the year. And so happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
All right. He's all that to say happy Thanksgiving. He said in layman's term, no, I don't celebrate Thanksgiving. I'm super woke. And so now I don't want to celebrate any type of holidays. But for those who do, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, y'all.
You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying? It's just, man, when you start reading some stuff, it just make you question life. You're like, dang, I can't even celebrate Thanksgiving now. Like even Thanksgiving gotta, so you just never know, man. You just gotta hydrate,
Hey,
drink water, stay low key, keep learning.
I like the what are you grateful for, all that great stuff. It allows me to love on everybody, not just family, our audience. So we are thankful for y'all because we are not going to talk to you on Thanksgiving or Thursday, right? Mm-hmm. However, for those who celebrate and don't celebrate. So at the end of the day, we are very grateful that you are watching this, that you're listening to our voices every single week. And we just want to say thank you. Even though Moose is woke. You know what I mean?
I be waking up, you know what I'm saying? I just be waking up.
What?
Oh, man.
Jesus.
I love it.
Moose, what are we talking about this week?
One of my favorite things is, getting these reactions from Nicky. Like, what are you saying, bro? So if you ever see me saying some stuff that you're like, why did he do that? It's probably because I wanted to get a reaction from Nicky. It's not because I wanted to say something ridiculous. It's fun, So I'm excited, man. But anyways, yeah, so I want to talk about, of course, the topic of authenticity, and more specifically, the topic of authenticity online. And so I feel that for a lot of personal brands and surface-based business, you can really benefit from infusing your personality and maybe what you believe and who you are and your thought process and perspective into what you do, or a way to capture attention and really move people to engage with your brand. And for some, it really comes with a lot of stress,
Mm-hmm.
anxiety, fear, overthinking, where you're like, man, I just don't know if I should be saying this or if I should do that. And how should I do it? And so you might start off just because it's exciting, it's new, you get some good momentum behind you, and then you come to a halting stop because, again, that fear and all these other things begin to kick in. And so I've gone through that, of course, cycle once or twice, and I feel like I'm in a good space with it all. We kind of spoke about it briefly on the podcast, which was really cool. But I wanted to just, really give space for us to have that dialogue. For those of you tuning in, please let us know your thoughts on this topic. Obviously, if this is something that you struggle with, let us know in the comments and all that good stuff. And share it with a couple people too, man. This is always a great conversation to tap into. From time to time, we'd like to talk about the person behind the personal brand. So obviously you making sure that you're kind of in tune and developed and feeling good, because I really got to say, you can do much better work when you're operating from a good place. When you're
Mm-hmm.
operating from a healed, holistic, standpoint, your best work comes out of that space. No good work at least, comes from insecurities or anxiety or worry or stress. Very little work even happens at that point. And so that's really what today is going to be about. So, Nix, I know where everything from your routine to the way you time block and manage your time. And, there's a lot of things that you really do behind the scenes that might seem normal to you because you've done them for so long. But I'm always really interested to learn about some of the newest things that you're doing, or things that you've done in the past that have really helped you to stay true, because you're probably one of the most consistent people that I've ever seen when it comes to online and offline. And so what we shouldn't forget in this, of course, is all the inner work that has to happen for someone to stay that consistent, because it's not an easy task. And so I definitely want to talk about that, and just kind of share game from both of our journeys a little bit, and help the people be more authentic online.
So talk about the consistency. What we talking? What
Yeah,
angle you want to go?
start with the routine first and foremost. I think that there's definitely a routine that you subscribe to that I see from time to time. You'll show glimpses of it, but I feel like that has a lot to do in you being authentic and consistent. But definitely tap into that piece.
Yeah, I have a cool little morning routine depending on when your morning is. My morning is when I wake up. Okay, I'm a night owl, so I'm not the super early kind of vibes, but I have this list of things I got to do, and the little things keep you consistent in the big things, right? So I'll have, and I make it super personal. Like, so I'll say, text my girl, text my mom, not in that order. Text my mom first, then text my girl. Okay. I don't want no smoke. Love you, mom. And then I'll work out, meditate, listen to a podcast or read or whatever, write something down new, look over an interview and write some notes down. Like my morning routine has changed throughout the different seasons, right? And it just depends on where I'm at. In this season, I'm definitely more into self and research. Like, I'm a big research geek where I'm like learning something every single day based off what's happening. And it's even more than what's the podcast is needed, right? And just because I truly enjoy it. So then I'm looking at blogs as well for, my craft and what I do. So when all that is done, then I can start really focusing on work, because I'm big on, if you can be consistent with yourself, you could be consistent for others. And I don't flip that, because I used to, and I used to feel very drained. It's very rare that I feel drained now. Super, super rare, right? So after that, then I have kind of a like a checklist when it comes to my social media stuff. I have morning, afternoon, and evening, and it goes based off different platforms as well. So I'll have everything from Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. I have all that stuff kind of just checking if I scheduled it, checking if I posted, do I have something ready? And it goes throughout the day so I can stay very active in some way, shape, or form. So for me, the to-do list and I say checklist and to-do list because the checklist is for the morning. I don't feel like I have to do that, right? It's not a to-do thing. It's things that I really just love that for me. And then the to-do list with the social media stuff. And then, of course, based off how the day goes, I'll have other things from meetings and everything. But for the most part, I have 2 lists that I go by all the time. And then at night, I have more of a workout read session as well. I don't set a certain time for that, but every single night it's like I'm on the Peloton and I'm like reading to do 2 things at once because I don't have time to do either or separately. So we're going to do this together. And it kind of makes time goes like not slow, but different. It just makes me zone in on that stuff to realize that like even at the end of the day, you still have to go back to learning and taking care of self. So that's kind of my, my routine kind of vibes.
That's really dope. Take us back to the beginning of the journey. Was it always this way? Because of course, when you think about being able to make the decision, just alone, that alone in itself can seem a bit stressful because you're making the decision. And I'm sure for those of you who are again trying to grow personal brands or manage personal brands or have a service-based business, just to make the decision to say, okay, I'm going to step into that, or I'm going to really build my authority online. There's pressure in that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think for people in the beginning of the journey, there can be some like, man, is this the right thing for me to do? Should I go all in on this? And there's a little bit of uncertainty. And so going back to the beginning of your journey, what was that like? Like, how did you make the decision? Was there a time of trying to find your voice and see how you're going to relay or translate offline Nicky to online Nicky? Was that ever a thing?
No, it's the same person. I mean, like, I'm just a geek in real life. I mean, like, so it wasn't figuring out, like, now the routine, the type of person that I am squirrel, right? I can get very distracted very easily. So though I pride myself at remembering a lot of things, I realize as my position got higher and higher, and my influence got higher and higher, a lot of new stuff came through. So I would start here, then do that. And then like, I'm the typical person that has like probably like 20 tabs up because I'll remember something and then I'll go there and then I'll remember it. Like, I have that. There's a label for it, but I didn't get treated for that. So I call it squirrel moment. Hello. So for me, it was to keep myself focused. I do that. But then when it came to, the online situation, it goes more to like, who do I want to be? And all I know how to be is me. So what you see on social media is the same person. It's the same work ethic, same personality, same kind of vibes. The podcast is based off all the research I love to do. Like, I'll give Moose half the notes. He's like, damn, wait.
Yeah.
Okay. Here. I got 2 things. Okay, that fit. Go. Let's go. Like, damn. All right. But this is what I do. So I never try. It's harder to be somebody else. And praise God that I never had to do that. I never tried to like fit in online or, try to act if I could talk this way and teach in this kind of manner or go talk about a broad topic. I can't do that. I don't care for broad topics just because that's how I receive information. You got to speak specifically to me, and I need to find things that is specific to me. So I'm saying topics that are specific to what people need to know. Today I talked to overthinkers. You're an overthinker. I'm being very blunt to you. You're an overthinker. Oh my God, this is so true. That you're right. I spend hours and it doesn't get any kind of hits. And then when I don't think of anything and I just put something up, all of a sudden these numbers are going up. This is crazy. I'm speaking to a specific group. Why? Because that's all I know how to speak to. So who I am in real life is the same online, the same kind of routine that I have in real life. I have it in my digital life. Nothing changes. It's just a platform.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's good. And I honestly can't say the same. I wish I could say the same, but I can't. I think for me, early on in my journey, or at least in just my life, really, I used to have these very high highs and very low lows, these cycles that would last maybe about 3 months apiece, right? And I would be in my high season, crushing it, feeling good. And I was feeling good, and I had no idea why I was feeling good, but I was just happy to be feeling good, and I just went with the flow. And then I would start to have a downward spiral where things start to get a little rocky. I had no idea why they were getting rocky. I was all types of craziness and just going with the flow again and not knowing why that was happening. This was probably like, just after college or even during college, and trying to figure that out. And so when I transitioned online and trying to just share some messages online or really figure out my space and what I'm going to be doing and all that, I had to get over that hump first, because I think that was the biggest thing that was challenging my consistency. I had no idea what are the ingredients that helped me to be at my highs and what were the things or the issues that contributed to me getting to my lows. And it wasn't until I started to develop this self-awareness to really start to see what were the common traits in both seasons. And so what I found was when I was at my highs, I was praying, working out, and consistently working in that order. Like I was really consistent in those 3 things. And as simple as it may sound, when I was in my lows, all 3 of those things were missing or inconsistent. So I was inconsistent with prayer. I was inconsistent with working out. And of course, my nutrition was terrible. And so then I wasn't really focused at work or what I was after. So that was the first adjustment that I really had to make to start developing some level of momentum or clarity around, okay, who am I? Because I think that when you talk about authenticity, and the truth is, a lot of us don't really have a clear idea around who we are. And so if you're not clear on who you are, how are you going to be able to portray that or deliver that message to people online using other mediums? It's difficult. You're just taking stabs at what you see other people doing or what you deem as success and as something that works. You just copy that. And again, when you're not self-aware, you don't know that you're doing that. You're just going through the motions. And that's ultimately what I was doing for such a long time. And as I got better, that's where I really started to kind of refine my routine and find the things that work for me. And so today, or really what my routine consists of now, is the first thing I do when I wake up is, of course, I'm going to hit that prayer mat and get myself right and spending time and praying. The goal is to always complete all 5 prayers, but the morning prayer is probably my most consistent prayer because it's the first thing I do when I wake up. And then from there, getting my butt to the gym, and just spending some time like working on my mental. Now, the thing that I've really been doing lately, and I guess it's, very similar to what you described, is I've cut out music quite a bit. And I'm not against music. I actually love music, but I'm learning and seeing this about me, at least personally. And I'm wondering if people in the comments can relate to this. But what I'm realizing is that taking in information when I'm working out really helps me to digest and get new ideas. And so when I'm stagnant, like not moving, and I'm just learning, I'll learn. But it's almost like passive learning because I'm taking the information and I'm just keeping it as is. When I'm active, when I'm actually doing things and more specifically working out, I'm taking in the information and I'm generating new ideas with the information and thinking about how does the information apply to the things that I'm a part of and how I can build on them to make them unique to what I'm doing. And so I'm almost addicted to this new thing now, or a new routine where during my workouts, I'm listening to an audiobook and not listening to music. And so taking in audiobooks.
Well, that's because you could work out with your eyes closed, so you don't necessarily need to listen to anything. Now, for folks like me, need every type of music.
Motivation.
I'm not going to hear, so in page 4, we're going to be talking about gamification. And gamification, what? No! Give me music.
Yeah, no, that it is a blessing. You're absolutely right. Like working out for me is definitely one of those things that I enjoy. And not all the time. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are times when my body feels like, sluggish or whatnot. But for the most part, I am in that space now where if I'm hitting those marks, the things that make me operate at my optimal levels, I'm in a good space. And so I can do that. So yeah, for sure, to each its own. But for me, that's just one of the unique things that I'm finding in my space are working great right now. And so I'll listen to books now at a faster speed because you're right. I don't want to listen to someone reading like this the whole time. I'm trying to push some weights around. It's like that doesn't work. And so,
You be listening to like, yo.
Yeah, I've sent some stuff
Kevin
to
Hart
Nicky.
said this about Jay-Z. Like, how did you even receive that chipmunk style?
That's a really good impersonation, I must say. That was good.
That's what you do. When I heard it that first time, I was like, what are you listening to 2.0? How?
Yeah. No, it's for me, like between 1.5 and 1.7, depending on the author, that's a sweet spot for me.
You're
So,
wild.
But
You're a wild boy.
But there's some game in that, so let me tell
You're
you what
a wild
happens.
boy. You listen to keywords. It's not even sentences. You listen to keywords.
I really be tapped in, man. It's a lot more stimulating for me. And the beautiful part about it is I cut down so much time from the length of the book. Now, if I need to go back and re-listen, I'll do that casually, but I don't feel as though I'm wasting any time. And so a 7-hour book at 1.7 might come down to like 5 and some change. So like when you think about it through that spectrum, it's like almost a competitive learning game that I like to play with myself. Like, how quickly can I learn and consume information? So anyway, not to take us down this path, because I know this is about to be a whole different conversation.
I'm just saying, like, because of you, I listen to things a bit faster. Books, it depends on how slow my man is reading, mm-hmm. or female, but it's mainly males. Mm-hmm. I can't go that fast for it. But if I'm trying to learn, like, and it really makes sense, because I'd be trying to take notes at the same time.
Okay.
Like, I can't just listen. There's no point of me just listening. Like, I'm not depending on my brain to remember too many things anymore. So I'm trying to even to the point where now I'm not listening to audiobooks as much. I'm trying to read, which is very difficult because I'm on page 63 only in this book that I've had for a month and a half or something. And it's pissing me off. And I almost want to get the audiobook, but that's not. I'm trying to be disciplined here. But
yeah.
But when it comes to videos, when I'm like research and very in the beginning, I'll do 1.5. Just so I was like, okay. I'll do 1.5.
Little step up.
But once I hear keywords, here we go.
Slow down.
Once I hear keywords, then I'm slowing it back down. Not maybe the normal, like 1.25. Mm-hmm. But no, I can't. What?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, but that's real, man. I mean, for those of you in the content game, the like the online space, and what you do is dependent upon information. I just think try it, give it a shot. I know Nick's is like, yo, be careful with the chipmunk stuff, but give it a shot because it is a hack. I think it's like a little miniature hack that not enough people take advantage of. So podcast, I'm at 1.2. I'm not, what I'm saying? That's not bad. Podcast 1.2.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like
yeah. No,
taking my time.
that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, taking my time at 1.2. And then, of course,
Because I
the
feel like you
books.
still need the authentic voice for the podcast. If you
Yeah,
change their voice to faster, it's
yeah.
not
Well,
that's not them no more.
the good thing is about the technology is that they have a way of speeding it up without making it sound like the chipmunk style, which is
I don't know
strange.
what technology you
On
have.
on YouTube, you're not going to get that. On YouTube, if you speed things up to like 2x, it's a wrap. You are chipmunking it out.
Yeah.
But on specifically Audible, at least, it tends to do pretty good. So anyway,
Oh, shout out to Audible.
yeah, yeah.
We went
For
totally off topic. Apologize, people. Really, really.
yeah.
Hold on, because we got a question.
Okay.
Somebody asked. Hold up, let me pull it up. Here we go. Let me put this right. Boop. As a female, it almost feels like you need to have 10 layers of makeup. I don't. Birthday made half naked and add a filter to all that just to be relevant. Is the substance not enough? So, let me answer this one. Hi, I'm Nikki and I'm cute and I do none of that. Hello. No. So it depends on who you're trying to attract. It depends on who your audience is, right? So yes, of course, entertainment and sex sells, and so looks do matter to a certain extent for certain audiences, right? And of course, it'll make certain numbers. But to sit there and say that it, doesn't work at all, no. It may take a little bit longer. You may say that it doesn't work because you're comparing yourself to people who are less of you, but may be doing the things that you said and they're getting the numbers. But honestly, what are they known for besides that? Right? So you always have to ask yourself, what do I want to be known for? Do I just want to be known for the looks and my body and that whole nine? Cool. And then you got to look at your analytics and realize that you have way more men following you than maybe if you want to have females to follow you. And they're not really buying anything because you're trying to keep up with the Joneses. So you have to look at things as far as what do I want to be known for and stay true to that. Now, if you do wear makeup, please do, right? You want to do things for you, right? You want to look good for you. You want to have a vibe for you because that's who you are. And we are going to love you for who you are. If some days you don't want to wear makeup, then don't. That's cool. I'm cool with that. If some days you do, if you're going to stunt and be like, I'm going live and hello, everything out, okay, more power to you, right? At the end of the day, it's about you feeling comfortable, showing up the way you want to show up. And don't sway left or right because this is what's trending or this is what's working on this particular platform because you're meant for a specific audience and they are cool with who you are. So that's what I'll say about that.
That's a big fact. I like that. Yeah. Big fact. Nothing to add, but for sure, that's
Look, you just
that's
told
the.
somebody, I didn't realize you could speed up a podcast. Look at that.
Oh yeah, you can. I know Spotify does it for sure. That's at least where I consume most of my podcasts. But yeah, man, it's a cool little hack for sure. If you are, just trying to cut down the time in which you get the information that you need to get for just the fast world that we live in. And so if it works for you, try it out. If not, whatever, you could always go back to normal speed. But for me, my routine right now, that's definitely one of those things that I plug into. And I know that if one of the things that I'm really proud of, or the things that I've at least been able to see, is that I can now cut down on the time in which I'm starting to feel like any one of those seasons is starting to dwindle, right? So like if there's a consistent high season for me now, not those high highs and low lows. And even if like challenges, of course, challenges are going to happen for everybody. I'm sure they happen for you. They sure as heck happen for me and for everyone in between. But when they do happen, I'm not living there, right? Like I think the time in which I'm spending in those seasons is a lot less. So all of that really to say that, believe it or not, a routine that allows you to work on you, get to know you a little bit better, and understand kind of the unique traits and characteristics that make you who you are, that's one of the most important ways to help you become more authentic online, because you're going to realize that there is no value in code switching or trying to pretend to be someone you're not. Because as we've said before, the worst thing is to blow up as a version of you that is not the real you. Because now you have to almost expend all this energy or waste all this energy trying to keep up that same persona, but it's not who you are. And so you're fighting. Do I lose my success and become the real me? Or do I keep faking it to keep up with success? And that's like never a battle that you want to fight. I'll only want to be whatever, call it well-known or quote unquote successful by society standards, as the real version of me. Because now I know that every day I can wake up and be exactly who I am, and that's who I need to be to maintain my success. And that's a great space to be in. And so for sure, I wanted to start at, the routine space, because it's overlooked often, and we blame it as, oh, I procrastinate, I'm not consistent, I'm not this, I'm not that. But ultimately, it's just look at your routine. It's like, what does your routine look like? Your routine is going to encourage your authenticity. And as you tap into that, you'll start to really see some things happen. So what about, some of those times when you get in a rut, Nix? I mean, even if authenticity is not something that's under pressure anymore, it's like there isn't an urge to change from who you are, because obviously it seems like that's something that you feel pretty strongly about. What about when you're just in a rut or things are not working like they used to? Is it ever a matter of trying to say unlock new interest for you, or explore new interest, or learn new things? Or what are some other keys in general would you suggest or share for being authentic online?
When I'm in a rut, I just repurpose. I don't try to show up on social media. I create enough in my good days that allows me to have bad days. So yeah, of course I have bad days. There's days I don't feel like doing certain things. There's days I don't feel like doing anything at all. I still am working on my frustration levels. I'm not going to say anger levels, because I don't have anger problems, but frustration, because I'm a spoiled brat, and so certain things don't go my way, I act a fool. So I've been working on that. But in those days that it didn't work, there's still a way to still stay present and not make people feel when I have bad days. That's my whole thing. You're never going to look at my social media and feel, oh, Nicky's having a really bad day, because it's not your fault, right? It's none of my audience fault of my obstacles, of my ups and downs. Is none of that, right? Now, do I have transparent moments on my social media platform? Absolutely, right? There been multiple posts where I'm like, I don't feel like posting, so I'm going to talk about not feeling like posting. That's it. Or I'll create a live like I have nothing to talk about. So what do you do when you have nothing to talk about, and make it into a lesson, right? But at the end of the day, I have a commitment to staying present on social media. And the second that I allow my feelings to beat that commitment, somebody's going to beat me. And so I don't have to get up and get in front of the camera or type something or anything like that if I don't want to, because I have enough content, whether I recycle something from a week ago or from a year ago. It doesn't matter. I'll just take it back. And sometimes I just copy verbatim of the captions and post it. And we're good. And then I'll regroup for the next day. But I don't allow bad days or obstacles or anything not let me be present on social media.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, repurpose is definitely a life saver, might I add, for sure. Because that's a good way to look at it. Because I don't know that, and unfortunately, negativity does tend to get more attention than say a consistent person will. That's just naturally how it's always going to be. But definitely not one of the tactics that you want to use for that. What about when it comes to, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, the difference between branding and marketing, and how marketing sometimes is really about being able to capture attention and do something with that attention to obviously generate traffic towards something specific. And so in the rise of COVID and the pandemic, we started to see that a lot of the flex lifestyle was a popular thing. Like, it became very popular. A lot of people started to gravitate towards that. I like your way of doing it too, by the way, because it's not like you don't have nice things, but you're very subtle with how you show them and introduce them, right? It's like, talk about that as well, right? Because I think that a lot of people lose their authenticity because of flex culture. Like, this idea that you need to showcase and show off where you're at and what you're doing and what you're eating and who you're with and what you're wearing and what you're driving and all the, like, you can start to, if your vision or perspective or thought of this is what I need to do to be successful. I mean, yes, does it get attention? I'm sure it does. But I do feel that that's one of the ways in which a lot of people lose their authenticity as well. And so when you think about flex culture, how have you navigated that? Because, like I said, you do have nice things. It's not like you're not obviously doing your thing, but how have you navigated it?
I don't need validation from people about materialistic things. Like, if I want something, I buy it, right? I don't get. Now, here's the thing. I have a circle that I show what I got because I'd be excited. Look, right? But then let's always be realistic. Like, I'm a New Yorker. I'm not, like, instantly, I'm not going to be like, yo, this is all the stuff I have. And then, hello, I'm getting robbed. Like, and shout out to those people who do flex on social media. A lot of them have had attempted robberies. It's called spade a spade, right? So, for safety reasons, I'm not going to do it. Two, I don't feel the need to show everything I have. Like, here's a table. Look, this is what, like, I don't feel like that's motivation in the industry that I'm in, right? Now, and two, well, not two, this is going to be three. Three, I act like I'm supposed to have these things because I am. No shade to nobody, but I don't act like, how do I want to say this without offending anybody? I don't act like I never had. So I'm cool. Like, you want to act like you're supposed to have these things. You act like this is something normal. Like, you want to act like you belong in these rooms. So yeah, there's from people I know, people will notice that I don't take a lot of pictures with the people I do know. I'm just not that, I'm not groupie. I'm cool on that. No offense to those people who do that, right? And there's some people I'll take a pic with as far as who I like. And I'll take a pic with anybody who asks me. But from those people I see, I just act as if I'm going to see them again. I act as if we're going to have a whole full-blown relationship, not in that kind of way, but a full-blown relationship, because I believe that's supposed to happen. The materialistic things, I believe that I'm always supposed to have that. So there's no need to show it off, because for one, it's not going to, like I said, especially in the field that I'm in, there's some that it is a motivational situation. Like, look, I didn't come from anything. I'm in this particular market, and now this is what can happen to you if you follow these steps. Some people play that role, right? Some people play that role. That's cool. I'm more of the person of, I'm not going to hide, because I did do that before. I hid some of the things just because of the people I was around, and I thought, oh, you're not supposed to have that. Like, biggest thing for me was the chain. Like, shout out to my mom. She's a huge jewelry person. Has always raised me off of that. From New York, so we see big chains and all that great stuff, right? I get to a certain situation, it's like no jewelry at all. And I'm like,
what happened?
What? Right. I'm like, so we get richer and we look less? Cool. This is super weird, right? I'm confused, right? Not saying when you get richer, you have to look richer, but like, there's certain things that I like that now I'm not going to be ashamed to show on a regular basis, because that's just who I am. But I'm not going to be like, like, I'm not going to do all that. That's weird. That's weird. For me, it's weird. If that's your vibe, cool. But for me, it's weird. It's weird.
Yeah. I've always kind of stayed more on the privacy side than anything else, and so I don't want. I probably do it to a fault, Like Nicky always jokes around, like, I don't know much about you, and I've known you for a very long time, and it's like I got to say that I'm the same way on that level, man. I prefer to keep a lot more things private, just because I don't know. I guess it's easier to enjoy. I don't know. There's just, for me, I really don't care to do it. That's probably the best way to do it. I don't have any intention for it. I don't feel that it's better because other people see that I have it. I actually feel better when they don't know that I have it. I'm like, oh, it's like, it's just, for me, there's something about it. It makes it a lot better that way.
I always visit Musa and be like, oh, you have money. Oh, this has lights. Where did they even have lights like this? What? This is... He'd be like, I don't know what you're talking about. So, yes, no, that's how we are. That's how it is.
Yeah, for sure. Probably something to do with being only children. I don't know. Like, didn't have to show anybody, huh? No.
Yeah, we didn't have anybody to show it to.
It's like, I don't know.
We had no one to show it to. It was just like, all right, we got it. That's cool. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, and maybe that also is another thing. Like, as an only child, and I have one of the best moms in the world, and every person will say that, but I will say that I have one of the best moms in the world. That when I act right, because there were times I didn't act right. Teenage years was a different year, you know what I mean? But when I act right, I get what I want. So now I have that mentality of, if I want something, I'm going to get it, right? So it goes from somebody spoiling me to now I'm spoiled myself. So, and if I want something and it's a lot of money, I'm going to get it somehow, some way. No excuses needed. So that's why when I look at like that kind of flexing, it just screams to me you never had. It just screams that. And so, yes, as only child, we didn't have to show anybody because we didn't have nobody to show it to besides maybe stuffed animals, right? So our stuffed animals saw all our really nice stuff. But then it translates to, at the end of the day, no one really cares. You're either going to get celebrated for 3 seconds or you're going to get people jealous of you. Either or, feelings that's not necessary in life.
That's so real. I like that. That's a good way to put it. It's one of those two things that for sure are going to happen. Lastly, I want to just spend a little time talking about adding value because, to be honest, I think that's another way that most people can find a space that they are authentic, consistent, and they remain that way. Mm-hmm. It's when you're focused on the mission, the movement, the objective, and not any of the smoky mirrors or the whatever, just the noise that comes with that. Sometimes you can get distracted and find yourself in a space like, wait, how did I end up here? Like that's not even where I started. I have no idea how I got there. And it's because you got away from this idea, it's simple idea of adding value. Mm-hmm. And when we talk about overthinking, fear, anxiety, stress, all of these things that are tied to maybe feeling like you can't be your authentic self online, if you can just focus on that, is what I'm about to share going to add value to somebody's life? It really can simplify, the whole idea around should I post, should I not post, or how should I be or how should I not be? Just focus on those simple elements of am I doing something to proactively add value to somebody else's life? And I think that begins to give you very easy options around how to be, and it doesn't give you any, say, risk maybe to start drifting towards something that you're not. So yeah, Nick, maybe share kind of your take on that part too, like just this idea of staying focused on value, adding value. I mean, like, like it sounds easy or simple, but there's so much in that.
I mean, it goes to understanding that on social media, besides maybe on Black Friday and Cyber Monday, we're not trying to be sold to, right? So there has to be some type of pouring into people for them to like you. You have to do something for them to rock with you. You just can't, like, we've got very confused, a lot of us, when starting some of our profiles where we just feel like you just inside of our life will attract the people. Like, our life is so interesting. So you see me traveling, you see me do this, you see me do that. And you have to realize those people who are doing that have already established an audience that are interested in learning more about them, right? So that's a deeper connection. So you look at even some of the celebrities and influencers at a certain point, yeah, now we want to be all in their business. What are you doing? Where are you at? Who you with? And so they could show that kind of lifestyle situation, right? For others, you still have to add some type of value, whether it is a functional value, whether it is an entertainment value, whether it is a life-changing motivational type value. But you have to add something to a person for them to then have that connection with you, to want to know more about you, then to show your lifestyle, right? Then to show those more behind the scenes situations. And that is needed eventually, right? People do enjoy that. People do want to feel as if they are closer to you and that they know you. Absolutely. But do you have an audience that cares about that yet? Because if you don't, then you're just showing up to just have a personal photo album, video and photo album. That's all you're now trying to treat it as memories for yourself. Because it's not for people, because you didn't attract anybody who cares for that yet. So there is a time and a place for the lifestyle. There is a time where people would want to know more about you. But for the most part, like, you have to attract the audience, pour into them, add the value that they need from a functional entertainment and life-changing situation to then get to that part.
So good. Functional entertainment and life-changing situation. I like that. I like that. That's real. That's real. Add value, man. Add value. Between studying, learning, looking for ways to genuinely add value to other people's lives, the pressure of being something that you're not is going to automatically decrease. You're not going to feel that overwhelming temptation to say, oh man, but it's not working. I should do that. Even if you have the thoughts, because I do think to some extent, everyone from time to time may have a thought or two that sneak into their minds about like, oh, what if you just stay focused on those things? And so when you don't have a clear destination around the things that you want to do, around who you are, and the things that you want to contribute to the world, it's easy to get caught up in those distractions or temptations to be something that you're not. And of course, violating this authenticity or this idea of being authentic online. And so you'll start to see, man, if you really play the card right or you play this game right, your turn will come. There will be a time when what you have or what you deliver is going to be needed, and everything that you feel like you missed out on is going to be yours for the taking. And I always use the example, and not to use or say remind people of like bad experiences, but think about it. There was a time when the pandemic hit, and essential workers and people in the medical field were the most important people on this planet, because without them, we wouldn't have gotten through a very rough time period. Right? If you look at all the most critical times in history, there were different groups of people who were relied on more than ever, and they played a major part in keeping this thing moving forward. And so regardless of where you're at, I could even say the same thing about content creators. I mean, what's the DJ who was really doing his thing during COVID?
D-Nice.
Remember?
D-Nice.
Like, you see what I'm saying? If you just focus on what you're doing, your turn will come. Like D-Nice didn't just say, you know what? Let me be a DJ today. It's COVID, it's pandemic. I'm bored. I have nothing else to do. Let me just be a DJ. And so it doesn't happen that way. As much as we think that that's the way it works out, it's not. And so if you just focus on what you're doing, you'll start to see that your turn will come, especially when you master it. And that's when those times come. Like that's when I would say that's when those times matter, not that's when those times come. As you begin to master that, it's like that's when it matters the most. It's like you were called on, you showed up, and you showed out. It wasn't we had a lot of hopes for you, but dang, it was all right. That's not the best reaction you want from somebody. It was all right. And so trust your timing, man. Get you a routine, stay consistent in your study. Don't worry about what people say, because it's crazy. Anytime, and I'm like starting to see it, anytime any information is shared, at least things that I share that's specific to managing people's expectations and opinion, so many people respond to it. It's probably like the most shared things. And it's always a reminder, like as much as it's talked about, it still doesn't become any easier for people to deal with. Mm-hmm. People still worry about what others think about them, and they want other people's approval, and they want to know what their opinion is. And so it's something that you've got to constantly work at to defeat. It's not just something that, vanishes out the blue.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Shout out to Miss Foster in our YouTube stream. She asked a question that I guess I missed. Is like there is something about, well, not even questions. I think this is a statement. There's something about being active that allows you to retain information. I like that. It's
that's good. True. Yeah, that's how I feel. That's how I feel.
So people, we appreciate you. We love you. If this added any kind of value to you from the Facebook side, please purchase some stars. That is like tipping the creator. For our YouTube people, if you're watching this live, hit that super chat. Or if you're watching the replay, hit the super thanks. And that's tipping the creator as well. And we get a percentage of that. So we appreciate you. As well, the full video experience drops tomorrow, Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. We're in the chat. Come chill with us at 8 p.m. Eastern. And Moose, this was great conversation as always.
Thank you. Thank you for adding value for sure.
And take a screenshot, put it on your stories, and say what you thought about this live. We love you. We appreciate you. And you know what we're going to say.
Peace, y'all.